Welcome back, everyone. We are back today. So, obviously you can see the title. Right now we will be doing the main forgings of the knife that we're gonna be making. It's very warm day today. So, yeah. And if you have seen my short, we have just found this anvil from my backyard, and it was in the bushes. I started to clean it off. We're going to use the new anvil and a forge to start forging it. Mainly by forging it, we're going to compress it, flatten it mostly. Unlike this knife, which I made out of a different bar of steel. It's the same steel, it's just a different bar. I had 2 bars of that steel. I used one of them to make this and one more knife. So this knife, as you can see, it's pretty thick, already. I didn't forge this one. I just had to do some hammering. But this is what I don't really want too much, because then I need to work a really big blade onto it. Otherwise, if it's flatter, like this knife, if it's flatter like this one, then it's gonna be a lot more sharp. This knife is made for more not very fine cutting, while this one is really thin. Well, right now you're probably wondering, whoa, you made 2 knives already. Yeah, I did. These are just 2 of my starter knives. None of these are forged knives yet. So right now in the video series, I'm trying to make a forged knife. So these are just 2 examples of knives that I made. I also made a smaller one and a chisel knife that I kind of use too. I also made another one kind of like this. So now that I have some experience on how to sharpen the blade and make good handles, because I've made 2 knives with actual wood handles. So these are 3 forges that I have actually. Some are smaller. One is smaller than the other 2. They are lined with different materials. So in the last video, I talked about just one of these forges because I hadn't made 2 of them yet. So we're gonna be getting a lot more into depth on forges now, because we're actually gonna be forging. So in the previous video, I showed the blowtorch which we're gonna be using. So go check that video out, link in the description below. So let's start with the first forge. I already showed this one in the previous video. It's probably the most efficient out of these ones, but it does have some other things which lead to not using it. So this isn't 100% great. For experienced blacksmiths, they probably can definitely use this one. I don't extremely like it that much because it was my fault. I cut this hole large enough to fit a really bigger torch that I had, but that torch was way too big. It had way too much BTU to fit in this small can. So this is a K-wool ceramic fiber blanket. Yeah, so it's pretty good. This is the only forge I've actually used so far into forge, this is the only forge that I've used when forging. I haven't used these other forges yet. So this is in the exact same can as the other one. It's still quite crumbly. Oh my god. It's a plaster lined forge. This was inspired by Nighthawk and Light. He's this great YouTuber who makes cool stuff. There's a lot of dust falling out of this. That's one of the biggest annoyances of this forge. There's a bunch of dust. I had time to attach these 2, just like Nighthawk and Light's forge, I didn't have like ones that were big enough, so I just used these two. These aren't enough to hold it up, but like that's fine because I can use some wood supports. The outside shouldn't get extremely hot to burn the wood. But Nighthawk and Light in his video, he probably made it a little bit thicker, but that's completely fine. I'm yet to test this out, but the torch fits perfectly in here. And yeah, it can blast in the back. And this is more of like kind of like, it heats up the whole forge. So the steel doesn't need to be in direct contact with the flame. While this forge, you usually need to do that to save a lot of propane. So there's like maybe a 25% chance that we use this one. Then for this one, there's a 5% chance because this thing is way too small. I just wanted to showcase it. So this is aluminum. This is an aluminum can, which isn't the best for a forge because this is aluminum. We're getting steel red hot inside of this, which means aluminum that's way past aluminum's melting point. So the outside of this probably won't like melt, but it's just really tiny, and I can fit my smaller torch in here. It still works. Like I just lined a can with plaster and made a hole, and it's a forge. So this one has a 25%. This one has a 5%, and then this one has the rest 70%. So I have done some thinking. We're going to use the KO forge. In the KO forge, we can stick the blowtorch in and like attach the blowtorch to the propane, heat it up, put the steel in, take it out, and like hammer it down and flatten the steel. That's mostly all the forging that we're gonna need to do, because we have two options for the handle. We have masking tape, which is a pretty nice option, or we have the wood, which is higher quality, but it's going to be a lot trickier to actually stick it in here. Huh. I'm now carrying the anvil outside. So, this is the anvil, but it's certainly better than a cast iron skillet or a rock. I showed it around in the short a little, but now I'm gonna get into the details. So, first of all, I'm not sure where this thing was made or anything, because like this thing has absolutely no labeling. So if anyone knows like what this type of anvil is made, or where it is or whatever, put that in the comments below. So here, this is the main work area. This area is like a little flat part. This is the main horn. It has like this really cool like 4-leg stand design. So the weight of this thing is pretty heavy. I would say like this thing is probably like solid iron. So the weight is maybe like 10 to 20 pounds approximately. So, first, to set up the forge, we will be using some rocks to set it up, because the KO forge is just a cylinder, and it doesn't have any kind of stand like the plaster one. So I'm carrying it, not touching the KO. So we're going to set it up here or there somewhere. Okay, we're gonna be setting up the mini portable smithy right over here. Okay, transporting an extra table out here. We're going to set up the said portable smithy over here. So we need to get like maybe 4 rocks. One more. Okay, we just need to make sure this is completely stable. So, that's the forge set up. Now I need to grab the actual anvil. Okay, this thing is pretty heavy. So, to make it easy for me to work, we can set the anvil right here. So that means I should be able to simply stick it in, pull it out, and hammer. So this is the hammer that we're gonna be using. I've got some steel wool. This isn't like the actual steel wool that you would find at like hardware stores. This is like the Scotch Brite. We actually need one more thing to hold the hot steel. We can either use pliers or just hands. I'm going to wear welding gloves that I also showed in the previous video. So I'm back. Here we have the Lincoln Electric welding gloves. Okay, so here is the propane. Here is the torch. This is the steel that we'll be turning into the knife. So, here's the small torch. This has a piezo ignition. It can light this torch. So, okay, we are set. It's a little windy, so it'll still work. I need to take the cap off the propane. There we go. I'm just gonna make sure the valve is shut on the torch. We can attach it. And that's pretty well attached. Okay, this torch is ready. Small torch is ready. After it's all lit and ready to go, this can go inside of the hole in the forge. So everything should be set, but before I light everything up, I'm going to stick the steel in the forge. Like, I just need something to rest on right here. So I just need to make sure it's in the correct area. Now we are ready to light this. Okay. To start off, I'm going to light the mini torch. Oh my. Okay. Then I'm going to turn on the gas. Okay, let's do that again. Sometimes this torch doesn't light. That means it's going. Now we can stick the torch in the forge. And it's out. Okay, that's going to happen quite a bit. Because sometimes it doesn't have enough oxygen, or somehow the flame goes out. So I'll continue recording after everything's set up. Okay, the forge is up and running. The steel is getting hot. I'm putting on the welding gloves. I see it redifying. It's getting red. Okay, the propane is a little bumpy. I'm gonna need some more. It might be out of propane. Nope, we're good. I'm trying to flatten it and straighten it out. now since the propane bottle is turned to the side, it's sputtering a lot. So we need to get a better forge. I'm just going to straighten it out some more and heavily flatten. Too exciting. I'm going to try to sharpen the end into a point. Get hot. Okay. The end is going to get hot. I'm going to work it down and flatten it so it's better. I'm hitting that as hard as I physically can. And okay, I dropped it. There we go. That was quick thinking there. There we go. Flatten the end some more. We are done. Okay, ready to turn off the forge. Wow, that was extremely loud just a few seconds ago. But let's take a quick look at our creation. If you can see that there, it looks quite nice. So, as you can see, this end part is like what it used to be. It didn't have the hole in it. And then this is what it is now. The really cool thing about this is this part, which turned white. That's probably because of the burning of the paint. But it is pretty rough. So I'm just gonna try to like rub it a bit. Like over here, yeah, the white stuff, it's coming. Ooh, wow. I don't think it's very hot anymore. The white stuff is coming off pretty easily. Which, like, yeah, the white stuff did look pretty cool. But has to go. Look at that. Right here, this part, it's so cool. It's like a perfect, like, it's a little bit of gold. Probably from like the rapid oxidization that like makes it turn cool different colors. That didn't happen very much with this steel, probably because it's pretty thick. I do have a few like knives, which have kind of like a rainbow thing. Some parts are pink, some parts are red. That looks pretty nice. So, one major thing that we have to work on is the point. We need to sharpen it. So right now it kind of looks like a butter knife. So the blade is probably going to be on this one side, and the point, we're probably going to chisel it a little bit this way, and maybe a little bit like this way. Otherwise, this is a pretty nice forge. I can easily tell myself that this end, like it's a lot different. Not just because of the paint, because of most of the shape. Please remember to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.